Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. We'll only just focus on Bitcoin, I suppose, and we won't make it a massive video. There's nothing a great deal we need to say. So we are obviously in Saturday, so Saturday's being the weekend, meaning that I suppose price action can be a bit weird, and maybe it's time to just, I suppose, not look at it too much today, because look, we've had a really good, well, it's a really good month, really, I suppose. This last few weeks have been pretty epic, and the chart in itself looks really good. I mean, it looks really good. Now, long story short, we're at the top of the accumulation range. It's not taken us long to get here. We're at the bottom not that long ago. Now we're at the top. So I do expect to see some downside in the short term, to be honest, just a little bit. But overall, if we think about the bigger picture, we've got the daily looks great with our golden crosses above all major moving averages. We're above the 20 weekly on obviously the weekly. We're turning up here on the money flow index and on the MACD on the weekly. Everything looks amazing. The only thing that would concern me is the fact that we've come up, we've run up quite far, quite fast. We've hit this level here between 48 and 50,000. We could obviously sail through that, and if we did do that, then there are other areas that would, I suppose, be potential targets, really. Potentially, this entire area is a little bit messy, but overall, a target to around about $56,000 could be reached over the weekend. Not that I'm saying that it would, but it could. But I'm not holding out for that. And the reason I would say that is that the main range is this accumulation range, which has taken a while to play out. We were saying that the entire summer is largely going to be a sideways situation, which it still is. We are still sideways. We were down sideways, we were up sideways. We could easily go down sideways, even though the chart permits largely a move, a continuous move that points upwards. Right? Very, very pleased with the way that the chart looks. Now, the main thing, I suppose, of any kind of thing to be concerned about is where's my RSI gone? Where's it gone? I must have accidentally deleted that a second ago. So let's just bring that up. Hang on a sec. Very early over here. I've got kids all over the place. I've got family coming over at the moment to stay. So we'll just show you this on the RSI is not a major thing to be worried about. We do have bearish divergence forming on the RSI here. We've also got a nice uptrend as well. So what we have is we've got ourselves a triangle formation to which we will find our way either out or down. Now, because we are quite high already, a breakout from here is only going to take us so far. I would mainly be looking at this in the form of the bearish divergence, really. And this doesn't mean that we're going to just die or anything like that. It just favours the fact that we are probably approaching, if not reached, a top right now, and would likely come down a little bit. Now, certain targets would be the same as before. We start off with a 10 exponential down here at 46,600. If that doesn't work out, that's fine. We've got the 20 and the 21 here, around about 44,600, and that's no big deal. And if that breaks down, then very strong support down here at 41,000, which is a previous area of support and resistance, and that should hold up as well. An extra little piece of support being the 50 exponential as well. So lots and lots of support below us in the event that we do have a pullback, even if it's a sizable one, which it would be if it came all the way down from here to 41,000. It would be a massive move. And this goes into the video, I suppose, that I made a couple of weeks ago, saying that we could be looking at a liquidity grab, which is basically where longs are closed, shorts are taken, then new longs are taken up, basically making the most of probably the large amount of longs that have been that are still in play right now. But the liquidity grab doesn't have to happen here just because we're at the psychological 50,000 or the top of this accumulation range. It doesn't have to happen there. Another place that it could happen would be up around here, about 58,000, where we see these tops kind of form as well, and this would lend itself to a really large breakout, potentially going into blue sky breakout territory. And so as we approach here, or obviously the 64,000 coming up towards that area, we would likely see a liquidity grab around there. So these are all areas where that liquidity grab could happen. So here, here, or here. Or it might not happen at all. So all I'm saying is that, look, it's the weekend. We've had a really good run these last few weeks. Everything's been really good, and I'm very happy with the way things are shaping up on the long term. I really don't feel like there's any need to be too concerned on the long term. But the short term, yeah, I think there are certain signs to suggest that a little bit of profit taking, if that's your bag, or if you're in it for the long run, just chill out and enjoy the weekend. And I expect the rest of the year will continue to make higher highs and higher lows, at least on the weekly, which means that whatever goes on today, tomorrow, it's just noise. It's just noise. The only time I would actually start to get a little bit concerned would be if we broke down again below the 200 exponential, which at this moment in time is just below 40,000. So until that happens, it's just noise. The daily chart is noise. Now, as far as altcoins are concerned, it's the same old deal with that. It would appear that money's flowing into the market relatively evenly, which is why we're seeing pumps across the board. I'm not really in favour of a specific rotation event, not yet. I still think everyone is going to have a little bit of a good time, but if and when Bitcoin starts to break out of this accumulation zone and proves it to be a support, basically, then I think we will start to see rotation from altcoins into Bitcoin. So a lot of profit taken from all these big moves that have happened with altcoins will go into the safer, more sturdy asset, at least in the short term, to see how far Bitcoin can go on its own. And again, people forget that Bitcoin does and can do powerful moves. I mean, we've seen it little bits throughout this period here. That Bitcoin has outperformed all altcoins on some days, but generally speaking, the market is moving as one, and altcoins are generally outperforming Bitcoin because their market caps are a lot smaller. So if money is flowing into these assets across the board at an even pace, then they will increase their they will have the bigger moves. They will outperform Bitcoin. But I think they are not quite yet, but there will be a point where they are on borrowed time. But I still think there's a little bit of space to go for these altcoins. But for the moment, the market's been driven by Bitcoin's health. So if Bitcoin does pull back from here, then altcoins will certainly pull back. And just as they emphasize the moves up, they will certainly emphasize the moves down. So it's okay to take little bits of profit on these gains. If you're trading, if you're hodling, that's a different story altogether. If you're trading, take profit as and when. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, but my usual strategy, especially in this situation, is to take profit into Bitcoin. Which sounds crazy because I'm saying, I am saying that Bitcoin is likely to, or has a decent chance of pulling back from here. So taking profit into Bitcoin, you could say, well, why don't you do it into Tether? Well, the reason being is that it might not pull back here. It might continue to go on. We just don't know, to be honest with you. We really don't know. The signals on this aren't particularly massively strong on the daily, either here or there. It's a matter of support and resistance from me and a little tiny piece of bearish divergence. Not much at all to go by. But one thing we can almost guarantee on is that if Bitcoin pulls back, the market pulls back. And when the market pulls back, all altcoins usually pull back much larger than Bitcoin. Whether that's twice or sometimes 3 or maybe even 4 times as much. So taking profit into Bitcoin, you will pull back with Bitcoin's pullback, but your losses will not be as large as they would have been if they were in altcoins. That's my general practice, I suppose. In this stage of the market, definitely, but it doesn't have to be yours. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.